It reeks to me of. You guys ever hear of Louis Le Prince?
No, but I wish I could smell just so I could smell how bad it smelled.
What? You can't smell?
And why do you want to smell the bad thing?
It reeks of Louis Le Prince.
It reeks,
I'm sorry.
French, figuratively, not.
Okay.
Curse my spiritual.
That was good. I
do every day.
You got me.
Hate it.
Louis Le Prince was a French inventor in the mid-19th century. He was making strides in motion picture camera development. He actually patented one of the first motion picture cameras that utilized a series of still photographs moved, but they were all taken for some reason. I couldn't figure out why. All taken with different types of lenses. So the images like bounced around as they were like projected back, and it was just a very kind of clunky thing.
Chaotic.
What year is this again?
1866.
Damn, that is right out of the fucking Civil War, right? So like who's it, Brady?
Yeah, so 1861 he was like cutting his teeth around France.
Jesus.
And then 1881
That's exactly where it came from too.
he went to he studied with some people in the United States, and during that time became involved with the team that was creating essentially the first motion picture camera that we know of today. It used a single lens, took consecutive photos, and what was it? They had like the frame rate in here. It was like ridiculous.
Matthew Brady.
6. Matthew Brady?
Matthew Brady
was not
the,
one of the Bradys.
And he didn't take one selfie.
He actually
I'm
did.
sure he did, yeah. It was probably the first one you do as a selfie.
That's crazy.
But did you do a belfie? When you do your butt? Like
a belfie?
They actually call it belfie. They actually call it when you take a butt selfie.
Okay, stop. You just shook him. You just shook Kaz. Kaz, no.
Knocked him right out of story mode.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He looked into the corner of the room.
I was just trying to understand.
He tried to remove himself from the room.
I don't want to live in a world with belfies.
Leaving.
Leave your body here.
Just wanted
there are no belfies in this world.
His soul to just fly away.
Whoa.
So,
man's a pro. Right back in.
Oh, I love you.
Mr. Le Prince, this would have been a normal life, right? Like, he's just a guy, he invents a cool camera, whatever.
Sure.
But in 1890, he disappeared in France. He was on a train to visit his brother in Dijon.
Delicious.
And he was not seen again. No luggage or corpse was found, and no one saw him. Some people suspect that he committed faked his own death, a suicide, basically, to escape bankruptcy.
He Tupac'd it.
Right, to try to get out of... What they say about Tupac?
Machiavelli.
Of course, Machiavelli.
One of the more interesting ones, and the one that brought it to my attention, was that at a very similar time, another man in America who was kind of a fuckhead and who was kind of getting his patents and inventions known at the time. Would you know who this is?
Edison.
Yeah, I guess was actually had a competing patent for a similar motion picture camera, and at the time there are several people that basically posit that Thomas Edison had something to do with this man's disappearance.
Motherfucker, dude.
Thief.
He's like the Hillary Clinton of the 1800s.
Where were his emails?
So it was Edison, because I was thinking like Alexander Graham Bell, that son of a bitch.
Motherfucker.
You know what? I'm gonna knife a relative of his. That's how.
Where does he live?
I'm going to do some research. I'm going to find the closest one. I'm not going to do a lot of traveling. It's not that big of a deal. But if there's one within a 50-mile radius, they're getting a stabbing. Small knife.
Are you going to call them first?
Are you doing
That's how much I hate.
Nice.
That's how much I hate the Bells.
And the fact that you're calling them is like even more ironic. Like, I'm using the device that your grandpa.
Yeah,
so
and then strangle them with a phone cord. But no one has those anymore, so maybe not. Anyway, move on.
So, at the time that he vanished, Le Prince was about to patent his 1889 projector in the UK and then leave for Europe for his scheduled New York official exhibition. His widow assumed foul play, although no concrete evidence has ever emerged, and Rollins, one of the investigators on the case, prefers the suicide theory that he had basically offed himself and disappeared to escape bankruptcy. In 1898, Le Prince's elder son, Adolphe, who had assisted his father in many of the experiments, was called as a witness for the American Mutoscope Company in their litigation with Edison. By citing LaPrince's achievements, Mutoscope hoped to annul Edison's subsequent claims to have invented the moving picture camera. LaPrince's widow, Lizzie, and Adolph hoped that this would gain recognition for his achievement, but the case went against Mutoscope, and Edison ended up walking away scot-free, and then electrocuting elephants. And
that was weird.
That's the worst damn thing. That just every time I think about it, I get pissed off.
So there's several theories. He owed people money, etc. But a lot of that was kind of discredited because they went back and checked, and his company was successful. I mean, he had this patent was already good to go in France and the UK and stuff like that. So he was just trying to make it in America. And then Edison got wind of it and had a creepy laboratory at his disposal where he could make things disappear or electrocute huge things.
What year is this, by the way?
1890.
The Chicago World's Fair is just a couple of years later, and I think Tesla beats out. Is it Edison who came up with electrical?
AC versus DC.
Yes.
It was I think it was kind of, I might be wrong with the timeline, but I think it was Tesla started getting more popular and more traction, and then to show the dangers of it, that's when Edison killed the gorilla, killed the elephant.
That's what it was, yeah.
And to show how dangerous it was.
Mm-hmm. So basically the Chicago World's Fair was the first electric fair.
So I feel like if Edison's involved and there's a disappearance, I like the Edison theory on this one. I think Louis LaPrince got by Edison.
Got suicided.
He got disappeared by Edison.
Wow.
I mean,
calling it.
The thing about mysteries and everything from that era, it just you had this image in your mind of what it looked like because of movies and TVs. I want to know what it really looked like. It's completely different because all the photos you see are stage photos. You don't see a real life photo for the most part because you have to set it up and stand there for 8 minutes.
Are you talking about the electrocution of the elephant?
No, just saying that what his evil lab really looked like.
Oh,
what it looked like with Edison going through his evil lab. What sort of crap was actually going on in there? I mean, that's if time travel exists, I want to go back and see some of that shit right there. Kill baby Hitler first, then go see the Edison lab. One, then the other.
I mean, we all die in the end. Everything organic.
Speak for your fucking self.
Becomes cold. I'm not talking about Angela.